Hello, students. Today we will discuss about the census and sample methods of data collection. The third chapter of statistics. Under this, at first we have to know the concept of population or universe. Population or the universe in statistics means totality of items under study. It refers to a group to which the method of the study are intended to apply. That means for which portion or part in total we are going to make a study or taking samples will be considered as population or universe. Let us consider the methods of statistical inquiry. There are two methods of statistical inquiry. While conducting a statistical inquiry, data can be collected either for all the units of a problem or a small number of units are observed and conclusions are generalized to the entire problem. The two methods are census method and sample method. What is census method? What is the meaning of census method? A survey which induces every element of the population is known as census method. That is, in census method, each and every unit of the population should be considered, should be examined while collecting data through census method. This is called census method, where such type of inquiry is suitable, or you may say that where the census method of data collection will be suitable. It is suitable when size of population is small, extensive study of diverse items is required, high degree of accuracy is needed, selection of simple items from universe is not possible, and reliable data is required. Let us consider what are the merits of census method. Accurate and reliable, first merit. Through census method, we can get the accurate and reliable information. Second one is less chance of biasness. There is no chance of biasness while we are collecting informations through census method. Third, extensive study of diverse items. Different items will be broadly categorized and classified and considered. And fourth one, complex investigation. When there is a investigation is complex, then we can use the census method. Fifth one is indirect investigations. Indirect investigations on studies like poverty, unemployment, brain drain, corruption, etc. require data collection by census method. These are the several merits of census method of collecting data. Let us consider the demerits of data collection census method. First one, it is expensive. It takes too much money in collecting informations through census method. Second one, large manpower requirement. While we are going to collect informations through census method, we have to employ more persons for collecting the informations. Third one, unsuitable for large case studies. And fourth one, not universally operative. The census method cannot be adopted if the population is infinite, the one which is continuously changing. In this case, the census method cannot be applied. Let us consider the second method of a statistical inquiry, which is called sample method. What is sample method? It is the method in which data are collected about the samples or group of items taken from the universe for study, and conclusions are drawn on their basis. Once the population is identified, the researcher selects a responsive sample and draws conclusions on the basis of the sample. A sample refers to a group or section of the population from which data are obtained. A good sample, representative sample, is smaller than population, capable of providing reasonably accurate information about population. Then it will be considered as a good sample. That means the sample taken from the mass of data, group of data, or from the population, that must be able to represent the mass, represent the population. If the samples taken are inaccurate, then it will be not fruitful, not useful for the statistical inquiry. So it must be the accurate and representative. Now, let us consider the merits of sample data. It is inexpensive, the less cost is incurred in taking samples. It is useful for large investigations. Error identification. If there is any error, it can easily be identified. Administrative convenience. It can be easily administered. And fifth one is, it is scientific. Let us consider certain demerits of sample method. First one is, it is biased. Some biasness can be made while taking samples. Second one, it may be inaccurate results. Third one, difficult to frame samples. And fourth one, technical knowledge required. Who is going to collect data through sample method, he must be aware about the technicalities of taking the samples. Let us consider the methods of sampling. What are the methods of sampling? There are several methods of sampling, and it can be broadly categorized in two heads, that is probability sampling methods and non-probability sampling methods. Let us consider the probability sampling methods. These are the methods in which every item in the universe has a probability of being selected as a sample. These methods are further subdivided as unrestricted and restricted random sampling. Let us consider the unrestricted or simple random sampling. What is the meaning of unrestricted or simple random sampling? Method in which each and every item of the universe has an equal chance of being selected in the sample is called unrestricted or simple random sampling. This is called simple random sampling. There are different methods of unrestricted or simple random sampling, different types. First one is lottery method. Second one is tables of random numbers. And let us consider the restricted random sample, where what is restricted random sampling? Simple random sampling method is suitable when items of the universe are homogeneous. In the cases where different items of the universe are homogeneous, samples are selected under some restrictions. The methods used under restricted random sampling are: first one, stratified sampling. What is first one? Stratified sampling. Method in which population is divided into different strata having different characteristics, and some of the items are selected from each stratum so that the whole universe gets represented, is called stratified or mixed sampling. That means we have to divide the whole population in different segments, different strata, different parts, and then we will collect informations from each and every stratum, each and every part, and make conclusions by taking samples from each and every stratum, you may say each and every part. Let us consider the second one, systematic sampling. What is systematic sampling? Method in which items of the universe are arranged numerically, alphabetically, and geographically, and every nth item of the numbered items is selected as a sample item is called systematic sampling. This method is considered to be a shortcut method of random sampling. That is, each and every item should be arranged properly, systematically, and from starting to the end, it should be systematically arranged and systematically samples will be taken. This is called systematic sampling. Third one is cluster sampling. What is cluster sampling? This method is used when the size of population is very large. The universe is divided into some clusters from which sampling is carried out in a number of stages. This method is used when we need to divide and subdivide the population on the basis of certain characteristics. For example, if we want to collect informations from whole country, then we have to divide the whole country in different states, and state-wise we will collect the informations. Or if we want to collect the informations from the state, then it will be divided, clustered among different districts, and district-wide informations will be collected. This is called cluster sampling. Now, next one is non-probability sampling methods. These are the methods in which every item of the universe does not have a known chance of being selected as a sample. Some of these methods are, first one is purposive method. It may be called as the judgment sampling also, or deliberate sampling. There are three names of this type: purposive sampling, deliberate sampling, and judgment sampling. What is this? Method in which the investigator himself chooses the samples from the universe, which in his opinion are the best representatives of the population, is purposive sampling. In this method, sample selection is not left to chance factors, but it depends on the choice of the investigator. That is why it is called purposive sampling, or deliberate sampling, or judgment sampling. It totally depends on the investigator that which item should be taken by him as a sample. Now, come to the second item, second method, quota sampling. For this, the method in which population is divided into different groups or classes according to different characteristics of the population is quota sampling. For instance, what is quota sampling? Quota sampling, when say while the ration is distributed amongst the various people, various citizens in our country, then all citizens are categorized in different quota, that is below poverty line, above poverty line, that how much quantities they have to be distributed by the government from time to time. The quota is fixed. This is called quota sampling. Now come to the third one, convenience sampling. What is convenience sampling? Method in which sampling is done by the investigator in a manner that is according to his convenience is called convenience sampling. For example, an investigator may select a sample of various courses taught merely by referring to the college prospectus. This is called convenience sampling. That is, informations gathered by the investigator according to his convenience. These are the various ways, types, methods of collecting samples. Let us consider the essential or qualities of a good sample. Which sample should be considered a good one or a qualitative nature? It must be representative. When the taken sample is representative, then it will be considered as a good sample. Second, homogeneity. The sample taken by the investigator must be homogeneous. मतलब एक रूपता होनी चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं कि उल्टा सीधा जैसा तैसा हो. सैंपल में एक रूपता होनी चाहिए, एक जैसा होना चाहिए. थर्ड वन इज इंडिपेंडेंट. इट शुड बी इंडिपेंडेंट. इट शुड नॉट बी डिपेंडेंट. एंड फोर्थ वन इज सफिशिएंसी. दैट सफिशिएंट अमाउंट ऑफ सैंपल शुड बी presented by the investigator so that clear conclusions can be made from the taking samples. Now, let us consider another topic that is called statistical error. What is statistical error? In statistical terms, the difference between the collection data and actual value of facts is termed as statistical errors. The difference between estimated value and the actual value is called statistical error. That is, whenever we are making conclusions, drawn conclusions, then the actual fact is different and a statistical inquiry showing different. This is called a statistical error. Causes of statistical errors. Why statistical errors arise? It is due to the selection of inadequate samples, selection of wrong samples, personal biasness of the investigator, wrong information given by the informants, delay of information, especially while depending on local sources or correspondence. There are two types of sampling errors. First one is statistical errors. First one is sampling errors and second one is non-sampling errors. These are the two types of sampling errors. It may occur while collecting informations through sampling methods. So, the investigator must avoid these errors while collecting data through sample method. That is why we have to know these statistical errors. In sampling errors, The errors made by the investigator is the error which arises due to drawing inferences about the universe or population on the basis of a smaller sample. It is possible to reduce the magnitude of sampling error by taking a larger sample. So it should be avoided by the investigator while taking samples from the mass, from the population, from the universe. In non-sampling errors, errors in data acquisition, non-response error, lack of trained investigators, these should be avoided while collecting information through sample method. In this way, I have completed this topic, that is chapter 3, census method and sample method. Rest is well. Next day we will consider the next chapter, that is the organization of data, chapter 4. Thank you.